The chairman has actually very well highlighted the journey, if you like, of Fiji Public Trustee Corporation Limited. It is a very, very important and significant organization. It may not necessarily have the high profile, of AFL and some of the other nice, savvy type of organizations that the media loves to cover, but it is an integral part of any society. And that is essentially managing the estate of people who have passed on. That is managing the affairs of someone's estate and making sure that the beneficiaries actually receive the benefits that they are supposed to receive. As the chair also highlighted, that they have come into these premises on their own accord. It has not been funded by government, and which is obviously a very good thing. In the same way, like last night I was at AFL, where a very significant amount of work is going to be carried out in the modernization of Nadi Airport, but without any government assistance. In fact, the private sector is participating. The Westpac Bank is going to fund the entire project. And the very reason why they're doing that is because they have confidence in that organization and the ability to make the repayments, ability in the management and the ability in the staff to be able to ensure that AFL is a viable, commercially viable organization. In the same way, the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation, we believe, is on a very, very good footing. And I'd like to actually acknowledge and thank publicly, and please put our hands together, in particular for the chairman, Iqbal Janif, who's obviously had this very seesaw experience, which he highlighted. I'd like to thank him for his perseverance and indeed his tenacity in continuing with this work. Like I said, it's not a very sexy part of a state-owned enterprise, but it is nonetheless a very important organization. The fact that they own their own premises is indeed another feather in their cap, and I'm sure it is very, very pleasing to their staff too, that they can call these premises their own. I'd also like to just very quickly pick on the new services that they are providing now, in particular with the assistance of powers of attorney, drafting of wills, the free services that they are giving. In fact, in 2007, 8 and 9, going through the country, we discovered that a lot of people, and you would not believe it, maybe sitting in Suva, we do not realize it, but they have very, very basic services that a lot of people do not have access to outside of Suva. Indeed, many people do not even know that they need to make a will. Many people do not even know what happens when their husband or their wife dies, and if there's a property, it's in their joint names, or in the name of the husband, whether she can get it or not, whether the son or the daughter can access it, how do they access it. Very basic information was not made available. And indeed, I think it is great travesty, as far as all the other governments are concerned, not getting that very basic information out. So today, the corporation actually provides that level of service, and indeed they're expanding the services outside of Suva too. And we have, in fact, drawn up a synergy, if you like, between the corporation and Legal Aid Commission, because the Legal Aid Commission also has expanded its services. Whether it's providing services to single mothers or mothers who are going through separation and having feeding rooms, but also in terms of helping them in terms of finalizing the legal processes pertaining to their states. So I think it is imperative that these types of organizations work hand in hand together, because at the end of the day, we need to provide those very fundamental services. The last point that I would like to also make is that as a government, the Baini Marama government recognizes that not all state-owned enterprises can deliver a 10% rate of return on the investment. And I think it would be very, very silly for us, or silly for any government, to expect that. Because there are certain enterprises, or certain statutory bodies even for that matter, that is there to provide this service. So, for example, birth, deaths and marriages should not increase its fees for extracting a birth certificate. It still remains at $2.25. Probably the cost of the paper and the ink and the labor that's used is probably more than $2.25. But the reason why we maintain that $2.25 is because we want every ordinary Fijian to have a birth certificate. You'd be surprised. There's about 10,000 people, some people as old as 75 years old, that weren't even registered. They do not have a birth certificate. So we are carrying these outreach programs. In the same way, we do not expect Fiji Public Trustee Corporation to be making a 10% rate of return on investment. But we expect them to provide that service. Of course, it's great if they can give us a little bit of dividend, but at the same time, they must ensure that they look after their staff. The staff have a very healthy environment to work in, because they have what we call a very high level of people contact, very high level of people impact. So if they are happy, then the service they provide to ordinary Fijians will actually be very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate the board, the chair and the board and the staff for this wonderful new premises. I didn't even know that the property was so large, and there's obviously a lot of room for expansion. I'd like to thank them for their perseverance and congratulate them for what a wonderful achievement. Pinaka, thank you. Thank you. What's your name? Nelly. Nelly. There you go. Okay. Except OHS.
Is it OHS compliant?
Oh, this is rather good. Okay. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, very nice. Hello.
It's our
Boardroom.
Hello.
Hey, you are?
Officiate.
Abhishek.
Finance.
Fine, yeah, okay.
Yeah, meeting room. This is our finance area. Officiate will show you through.